Self-doubt. Here I've inserted three images if you all can see. The first one is from my book 21. It's me who is drowning, and the hands are of society is trying to, push me down. Could be people, could be your own critique, but the thing here is that we keep pulling ourselves down. Yes, there are moments when we feel confident, when we affirm to do better, but there are moments with a person like me it has happened that I always felt that I cannot do it. Or maybe I cannot make it big or do anything for the society. If self doubt whispers, let action do the talk. Here, the first picture depicts certain words like depression, anxiety, pessimism, frustration, is something that happens to most of us. I mean, to me. But here in the next slide, you see affirmations, positive talks. I can do it. This is something I can go and do. In the morning, I was thinking, how will I deliver the TED talk? But then, affirmations. I can do it. If I can, any one of you can come and stand here and deliver this. But again, I'm standing here to share my failure stories because that has made me grow. So there's a Greek myth. I'm not sure how many of you know about it. It's the myth of Sisyphus. Sisyphus talks about taking a stone up the mountain and falling back from it. And I feel I've worked around that myth. I thought I was thrown in a well, in a pond, in a fire, which was blank. I couldn't rise from it. As much as I pushed myself, I kept getting rejected. I worked hard, but I failed. I tried my best, but still nobody recognized my work. I felt maybe my life is a lot related to this myth. By the way, I started reading philosophy when I was 21. I found it boring in the start, like any one of you. But then I just loved it. Why? Because I could relate it with my life, with my circumstances and what I was doing. So myth of Sisyphus teaches you struggle is happiness. You must be thinking, what is she talking? Why struggle is the happiness? You all ponder upon the fact, how many of you think that there's a certain limit to success? Only if I become an engineer, I'm successful. Or let's say, if I deliver a talk, I'm successful. You can raise your hands. Do you think there's one parameter to success? It's vivid, it's dynamic. And that's what this myth teaches us. Not to be counted within one shell, but to break that and especially enjoying the journey while achieving that destination. The destination is not that far though, but to enjoy the process is something which we all miss, which I was missing. But then I started enjoying. I loved failing. I love to fail. I mean, you must be thinking, what is she saying? Why she loves to fail? Because that keeps me motivated to move forward. If I succeed, what will push me? What's next? If today I say, hey guys, I'm 26, I'm successful, I'm earning well, I have a good family, and that's done. That's not the life goal I have. And I feel that's not the life goal which anyone should have. Wear multiple hat, guys. This is the age when you hustle, but make sure you put it at the right place. So, Myth of Sisyphus, if you ever get time, it's a book by Albert Camus. Try reading it because I feel I could relate a lot, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate to it. Myth of Sisyphus also gives a lot light to my life in corporate because I've been in a job like sales, which demands high pressure, targets to be completed, and yet to just keep hustling. What's the number? Are you done? 1 million of quota, just completed. I've been in tech sales, I've been in product sales. And there's one thing which you all hear these days, toxic work culture. How many of you hear that? Most of you, right? And that's true. How do you draw a line is something which I learned after leaving multiple jobs and after being at multiple places. One thing which I learned, guys, never settle. If you feel this is not for me, drop it. It's okay. I'm not asking you guys to, okay, go in 2 months, just change a job, 3 months, change a job. But if you feel you're not growing there mentally, you should not be at that place. Talking of corporate hustle and coming to what job I've been doing, like I told, I've been into sales. And trust me, if you want to learn life, if you want to learn rejection and patience at the same time, sales is the thing for you. Sales was never something which I wanted to do. I always wanted to be like, I was a PCM student, by the way. And my dad always wanted me to be an engineer, okay, take BTech as an option, study, and I was good academically. But in my head, I was always like a little rebel, always testing things, always testing my own limits, being here and there, trying to see where I fit in the best. That's when I thought that something into management, something into business, or maybe something into marketing is where I suit in the best. Because I've been somebody who loved speaking, contacting people, or just having conversations candidly, talking to people about life. But I never knew sales would come to me. So when I first stepped into my undergrad, I thought this is something I can't do. I'm a PCM student, I cannot do accounting. But I did it. I learned so much. I used to take tuitions for humanities. I was a PCM student and I was doing a commerce course. So everything was on my plate and I loved learning. After that, I realized that I want to do marketing. I used to be so scared of sales. How many of you think sales is very tough? It's quota based, it's target based. A lot of you, right? It's a saying, like in Hindi, "Mujhse to nahi hoga yaar." That is how people get scared with sales. Even I was. Then eventually I feel it's destiny, or maybe somehow I, in my back end, manifested that. I ended up in jobs like a growth manager at Zomato, or an account manager at Adobe, or a customer success manager at Amazon. And all of those roles involved rejections on a daily basis. At first, I thought, I can't crack this deal. I can't do it. I can't interact with people. I'm done. But trust me, guys, why I'm standing here and speaking is all because of my job. Sales will teach you life. I'm not asking you to get into it, but there's an art of storytelling, which we do in sales. That's called positive manipulation. When we talk to the clients, you sell them software, product, whatsoever. You know, it's hardest to get money out of somebody's pocket, to ask people to buy a product, to show value in that. That's what you should apply to your life. You need to be your own brand and sell yourself there. Just not as somebody working or studying at a college or university, but as someone to be a storyteller, to juggle between the hats, to be jack of all trades. Coming to corporate job titles, one thing which we are forgetting is your network. How many of us in college network a lot? Most of us? MBA college, undergrad college. Even right now, I'm networking. I know a lot of you will go to my LinkedIn after this and check for me, even Instagrams. Who is she? What is she doing? Why is she here? Some of you have done your homework. That's how you build a network. One search, and the network is building. It's on you now what network you want to sit in. The jobs you fetch, the opportunities you get are all synonymous to your network. That's what it's saying. Network is your net worth. Here are a few pictures of me mentoring students. I've been to DDUC earlier. I've taken a workshop on LinkedIn optimization. Why? I'm not promoting use of social media, but I'm promoting use of building your own personal brand. All the opportunities which I've gotten have been due to my LinkedIn. People see, people read, they feel relatable with me, they contact me for a workshop. And I'm not a pro. I am not like a postgrad in sales or let's say a master's in marketing. No. I'm somebody who has learned throughout. And because of my lessons and my learnings, I'm here. So you guys need to build your network. If not, start building it today. That's my mom. She's sitting right here. And the TED Talk hasn't ended yet. So that's my mom, and that's the name of my community, Gitanjali Welfare. Why community work? Why make it a lifestyle? I know there has been points in your life where you guys feel community work is an obligation. To give, you never get poor. This is saying by Anne Frank. You never get poor by giving. Giving is an act of kindness, and community service is a lifestyle. I run a social community. It's a bunch of people who are working, bunch of youth, And I try to influence young people more because I want to build a community. I know it's still pan India, we are still based in Delhi, but the idea is to scale it. The idea is to inculcate the seed of growing, being kind, and giving it back to the society. It can just be giving that one biscuit to the dog on the road or giving your old clothes to your maid or anybody at your house who needs it. Is it a lot to ask? No, right? So, just to give you guys a brief how my journey with social work started, it's not been very, very long, and why my mom is related to this, because since growing up, I've been seeing her doing selfless work without a name. But I wanted to just give it a name. 2020, I lost my grandparents. I still feel teary when I talk of them. I visited Earth Saviors Foundation. I'm not sure how many of you know about it, but it's a very famous residential NGO where you find people who are abandoned by families. There I saw plight. Children tying their fathers and mothers to the doors and leaving them. That's when I thought, why not do something for them? Why not pay a visit monthly? Why not bring them joy by just giving them something to eat or something to wear? And beyond that, why not have workshops for them? Because we are getting it. We are getting the resources. We are getting to listen to TED Talks. We are getting to listen to certain people who are so influential. We are there on social media, but who are looking after these people? Nobody, right? So we need to make that stand. Even in a month, guys, if you visit places like that, if you get to know those stories, trust me, the heart will melt because you all are human after all. That's when journey of Gitanjali Welfare started. It's going well. It started 2 years back. It'll be 2 years this year. I want to grow this community. I want to inculcate the seed of community service amongst anybody and everyone. I love this quote. You're not alone. I love the theme of this TED. It says unseen voices. Voices which are not seen. You guys are not alone. You have me. You have people around. Be vocal. Never merge into something which has been a constant barrier. Come out of it. So, I don't know the slide. So basically, I just want to sum up what all I've spoken today. First, your struggles shape you. Struggle in life. Struggle is the happiness. Enjoy the journey. Second, voice out. Be everywhere, wherever you want to be. Never, never submerge yourself to a certain title. Learn. And third, be yourself. Never lose hope. So before I end my TED Talk, I would just like to read a small piece from my book, which talks about old age, grief, and leaving dust as you grow. So it's named Quietus. It goes like this. Wouldn't it be better to paint a picture or write a letter? Ponder the difference between want and need. But there's not much time. With rivers to swim and mountains to climb, music to hear and life to lead, but the world's out there with the sun in your eyes, wind in your hair, a flutter of snow, a shower of rain. This day will never come around again, but bear in mind, old age will come, and it's not at all kind. And when you go, and go you must, you yourself will make more dust. Thank you so much, guys.